Right, so you join us today on a very wet and extremely windy, feels almost autumnal day here at Marsh Farm Fisheries, targeting the crucians on the method feeder and the float. What a wonderful little fish they are. I think there's a soft spot in everybody's heart for a nice buttery bar of gold that is the crucian. A native carp species for us here in the UK, and they do get muscled out by the king carp across most of the country, and unfortunately they've become a bit of a rarity, and big crucians like you can catch here really are very, very rare. So they're wonderful little fish, very, very difficult to catch, but absolutely stunning. Targeting the pesky crucian. First thing is obviously you've got to look at the marginal features. They like to patrol right up against the margins, on the edge of the marginal shelf, up against lily pads, overhanging trees. They love structure. They love to kind of hide under the pads, hide under overhanging trees. So you want to fish as close as you can to the edge of those pieces of structure. They're incredibly shy biting fish, especially if you're fishing for them on the float. So you want to fish right down on the bottom, dead depth, or maybe a little lift method if your venue allows, but I like to fish right down on the bottom and then dot the float down as low as you can, and just watch out for those really finicky bites. They can be really, really tricky, as we're finding today, to be honest, but one way to turn them into a slightly less tricky fish to catch is to fish method feeders with kind of short hook links, and can turn, otherwise very shy biting crucians into relatively easy fish to hook, as long as you can find them and obviously get them into a bit of a feeding frenzy. Right, so very briefly, the methods that I'm fishing. So first of all, I'm not going to go into too much depth on the float setup, but I've got my 17-foot acolyte set up with a high-vis wag set to dead depth, like I said, and dotted down as much as possible, hoping that I can use it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So the method of choice in this wind is the method feeder. So I'm fishing a 45-gram flatbed method feeder with a short fluorocarbon hook link, about yay long, very short hair. One of them I'm fishing with a fake caster T-rig, and the other one I've got with a little pellet, just hair rigged straight onto the hair. Basically, it's a flatbed method feeder which gives you a bolt effect when hooking the fish, which, like I said, turns those shy biting crucians into relatively easy to hook fish if they do take your bait. So we're using a kind of a ground bait mix which has got various bits and bobs in it, caster meal, some sweet ground baits from Dynamite baits, and obviously applying that to the method feeder, firing that out there, leaving it for 25 minutes to half an hour, building up a bit of a better bait, and trying to see if we can edge those crucians out of the pads and onto the end of our rigs. Right, here we go, first fish of the day. Bit of a battle-scarred 2 pound 2 ounce crucian. Caught on double fake caster on a little 45-gram method feeder. We're going to get it back, see if we can catch a few more of our mates. I've caught many crucians from here in the past that have been absolutely gorgeous. This one was not. I mean, I'm sure its mother loved it, but it was definitely struggling. But we got it back nice and safe, 2 pound 2, nice start to the session. And then since then we've been played by tench. So hopefully we're going to find another one. We're kind of battling it out. It's very, very windy. It's been quite difficult to attack on the float. We've got a couple of method feeder rods out at the moment. And like I said, if the wind calms down, I've got a spot that I've been feeding off the edge of the pads just to the left of my peg, and fingers crossed we can find one on the float as well. But we've got a couple of hours left. We've got some good cloud cover. If the wind can calm down slightly, I'm confident we can find another. Fingers crossed. We'll certainly give it a damn good go. Trying to play a fish inside a matchbox with that rod there. Here we go. Here we go. Lovely fish. Right, not one of the crucians we're after, but a lovely little male tench. Don't mind catching these as bycatch, to be honest, but hopefully we'll get a few more chances on the crucians. But that one absolutely stormed off. Then didn't do anything, so I thought it was a crucian for a while, but there he is. Right, let's get him back and see if we can find some crucians. Right, so the Marsh Farm complex is owned and run by the Godalming Angling Society. It's a fantastic piece of water, obviously with the jewel in the crown being Johnson's Lake. We are currently on Harris Lake at the moment, and it's a beautiful place to come and fish. There's a brilliantly stocked tackle shop, the Apollo Angling Store, which is in the car park. The guys in there are really helpful, point you in the right direction, and it's an excellent place to come and spend a day. So there are day tickets, and obviously you can look to join Godalming Angling Society as well. But yeah, it's a fantastic piece of water, and like I said, I've fished it lots in the past. There are some absolutely stunning crucians and some brilliantly good looking tench in here. Well worth a day if you get a chance. The only other thing to mention is before I get started, I usually bring a spod rod with me just so that I can get out that initial bed of bait, so that I'm not reliant entirely on building it up myself with a method feeder. Probably, you know, a couple of spoms on each spot, small spoms, with the ground bait that I'm using, a little bit of hemp, a little bit of caster, and a couple of the hook baits. If I'm using hookable pellets, I'll just kind of sprinkle 5 or 6 of those into the spoms and just build up that bed of bait, and then just make sure that I'm fishing nice and neat over the top of that. And usually, if you keep going and you keep persevering, you'll get the result. Feels like a good crucian. Tench. Oh. It's literally the smallest of the day. Right, light's fading, so this could be last chance saloon. We've had a couple of tench, small ones, but there are fish rolling on that spot, so fingers crossed we can have one more chance. Right, there's not a lot I can do with this other than the fact that is a Crucian carp, and that is a very pretty Crucian carp. Which is obviously a bit different to the one we had at the beginning of the day. I'm going to put this one back and see if we can catch a bigger one, but if we can't, it's been a fun day of catching fish. These guys have definitely got the better of me, but I will be back to hunt for more soon.